What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome y'all back to the Legacy Podcast, and we are on episode 8. I said we are 8 episodes in, and I just want to say I thank y'all for supporting the podcast for this long. And we are sitting at 31 subscribers, and we're trying to get to 50. So let's get it there, and we're going to do a special giveaway for everybody. But once again, I appreciate all y'all that's watching the show. But back to the show. We back for a part 2 with the sports talk, and I'm back with my boy Matthew Broomfield. You know, he got his own channel, Truth Be Told Sports. Remember to check him out. But we're going to talk about all the nonsense that's going on in the NFL. And then, you know, basketball is right around the corner. So we're going to throw some basketball up there. So the first thing, you know, we got to say something about is Ben Simmons.
Yeah, we might as well get into it, man. We might as well just get right into it, bro.
Only thing I can say about Ben Simmons is that, for one, I don't respect him doing that. For one, this whole team has been built around you since the jump. You missed the whole year out, and this team still waited around, you know, got you back well. And, you know, only thing that I would say, honestly, I would say this whole situation would be probably 75% Ben Simmons and 25%, you know, the organization. Because, like, for one, it's the organization's job to develop the players. And, I mean, for him not sending him out there, and not even being able, he don't even got the confidence, you know, shoot a layup and whatnot. You got to put that on them.
Yeah, definitely personal accountability. You got to have that on yourself to make the shots. I will say the 76ers haven't really been like a consistent organization when in the rebuilding process. And I would say I would split the blame 50-50.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Ben Simmons and I'm knowing that I'm the main ball player or the ball handler on this club, yeah, like I know you have to follow the system. You have to play through Embiid, which he had an MVP season, but at the end of the day, you have to control and dictate and make opportunities for everybody else. So what comes with that is scoring. Now, from the organizational standpoint, though, what I believe is that they never really provided Ben Simmons with the opportunity to shine or the support because they were just struggling with all these draft picks. And then when they finally get Ben Simmons, which I've been saying this for a while, I thought Ben Simmons came out of college early, but unfortunately, he got hurt his first year, had time to really study the game and came back playing fine like an elite level talent. But when they got Joel Embiid, I just felt like they never really had a coach that established the roles until now. And so when you see Joel Embiid scoring 38 and things like that, and then you put a bunch of shooters, I mean, who has to get on the ball? You know, Ben Simmons has to do that. So maybe somewhere his confidence in between that kind of ambiguity, or excuse me, like the confusion of roles, it just, you know, kind of took away some of his offensive skill.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think yeah.
So another thing I would say would be like, I don't feel like with Embiid and Simmons is really the fact that Embiid stepped up. And, you know, like I said, he had the MVP season. So it's like at this point, yeah, the confidence is going to be messed up, you know, because like somebody, you know, the team that was there to help you is now, you know, you there to help them. You know what I mean? So that it does go back to confidence. But what I want to go back to is, again, is that developmental-wise, I feel like they just let him get too comfortable with just, you know, passing the ball, you know. But he did get better defensively. You know, I'm going to give him credit, when, you know. But offensively, you know, you a max contract guy. So you got to give me more than, you know, just defense and passing, especially in those big moments like that, you know. This either on you, if people are looking towards you, you know, take control, but you know, at the same time, you got to be able to make a play at the same time.
For sure. And I believe, you know, Doc Rivers as their coach, I thought they would have did way better.
Exactly. I thought they was coming out the East last year with Doc.
Yeah, I really thought they was going to be in the conference finals against the Bucks and probably, other than the Nets, be the best team to have a chance to go to the finals. I just think another point too, to your point when you talk about developmental, I believe that when you play a certain way for a while, or let's say even for the regular season, then when things change in the postseason, you struggle trying to get into that rhythm because you haven't played like that. And that was kind of the thing where when Golden State faced Toronto in the finals, KD was basically Curry was used to playing with KD and Clay, really KD. So some of the things that Curry's used to be doing on the court, he can't really do all that because he has to give KD some time to take over the game and dominate.
Right.
But when he came back and he got hurt, you could just see Curry really struggling to get things going. And then with Clay hurt, it just went down here. And I feel like that's probably what's going on with Simmons this season. Some of the things that he's probably was used to doing, because the free throw shooting in the season wasn't super horrible. I mean, he was still getting boards up, at least trying to drop 20. But I believe when Embiid has like a 32-point game, 38-point game, you know, almost averaging 30 points, and then you know the one thing their teams are going to do when they come into playoffs is going to do what? They're going to try to at least put pressure on Embiid and ice him out.
Exactly.
They don't want to let him dominate down low, which, I mean, you can't stop Embiid, but that's going to be their main focus. So when you try to have Ben, you know, play to be a dominant offensive player,
right.
It's like, yeah, I was in the rhythm all season, so like,
exactly.
you know, it's going to train. And then you playing guys that are like, you know, top tier talent. Like the playoffs this year was far less from having any crappy teams in there. And so I think that's probably plays into it. And then also the confidence of your coach. I mean, everybody knows what Doc Rivers said at the beginning. He was getting frustrated. People asking him about Ben Simmons and saying like he does other things on the court. Once you lose the series, though, the old famous question has been circulating around the news, like, do you believe that you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as your point guard? And he's like, he doesn't know. You know, like, and it was kind of like, I was watching Shannon Sharp podcast, and Mark Jackson was saying that, you know, coaches make mistakes. But that coming from Doc Rivers, where you basically had teams where you built rings and you had like legendary players like Paul Pierce, Ray Allen,
Hall of Famers.
yeah, Hall of Famers.
Exactly.
And, you know, you was playing with Paul George and as their coach. Like, what compels you to lose confidence? Like, I believe that you have dealt and handled with a lot of Hall of Fame legends, like we spoke of. And so when you come to Ben Simmons, what compelled you to say that? Is there things going on behind the scene? Was he already ready to mentally check out? And so, you know, as Ben Simmons, shit, you know, forget you, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And Embiid did the same thing too. So, I mean, that just made things a little bit worse.
Do you see him getting traded this season though?
Getting traded this season?
Yeah, because earlier they reported that, you know, they're not going to pay him the $8 million, you know, that he's supposed to get, you know, for training camp. They said all the money that he's supposed to get paid, you know, his checks, he's not going to get that. Nor when he comes back, he's only going to get, you know, whatever is left on his contract.
Yeah.
So it's like, why keep him on the team? You know, are you going to try to give him? I feel like they're going to try to give him a chance, but at least before the start of the season, you know, I don't feel like he's going to be there. But my thing is, who's going to get him? I don't feel like you're thinking about his contract.
Yeah,
like you got to throw that in there. Who's going to take that on for a player? You know, it's not. You know, I won't say fully developed, but you know, he can bring stuff to your team. But you know, he's supposed to be the top guy on your team.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if he, that's a tough situation because that kind of Ben Simmons put himself in a sticky situation.
Exactly.
And in Philadelphia, it made it worse for them too. Because Ben Simmons obviously doesn't want to come back, and B really isn't on good terms with him, nor is Doc Rivers. So you know the best player on your team, who you feed the ball and you're supposed to go, you know, trust. He doesn't like you. Your coach ain't got really anything to deal with you while you're going through this. In the organization, they try to make it. They didn't really do nothing to put the fires out. So, but you don't want to stay there. So, he put himself in a tough situation. Because now, like you said, they're not going to pay him. They're going to try to ice him out as long as they can. He's not going to want to play, but nobody's going to want him because of the showing that he proved. So I believe he has to have his agents or something got to do the talking and see if he can, you know, find a way to convince a team, probably one of these lesser teams that's not really doing well. Maybe the Wizards or somebody like that, you know, so one of these teams that's not really going to be a playoff contender.
I was thinking about Indiana.
Indiana is a good fit too. Indiana could be a good fit, but like the trend with that is all these teams that are really not making noise in the NBA, but they got the supporting cast. They got the supporting roles. You know, they have guys that can make a run with. They just need an elite level talent, and I believe Ben Simmons is on a different level of focus. I just believe, in my honest opinion, I don't think he's going to play unless he's going to sit for the season. Yeah. I don't think the whole season. I think if nothing happens before the deadlines happen or the season starts, he probably will sit until All-Star break at the most. And if he does come back, I don't think he's going to – I don't know. I don't think he's going to put his all – or he's going to do his own thing, which might make things worse but better.
That's another thing, because that's going. I feel like that's going to go back to like the situation, like with James Harden, last year, with Houston before he left. It was like that team really wasn't that bad wise. It's just the fact that I feel like the chemistry was so broken from like the stuff that James Harden said. So with Ben Simmons, saying all the stuff to his teammates, your teammates trying to get in contact with you, and then you're not even returning your teammates' calls. And then, like I said, maybe All-Star break, but we don't know the year that Philly's gonna be having. But if Philly's playing good, without him, why would you want to bring him in, and possibly mess that chemistry up? That you already done built, with the season so far.
Yeah.
Cause with him just coming back, it's gonna take a minute, just to throw him, back in the offense.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna take a minute, and I'll stand on 10 toes behind this. I don't think Philadelphia is gonna have any type of success. They might make they will make the offseason, but if they don't have Ben Simmons as their point guard, they're not going to have any type of success in the postseason whatsoever. I can see them out in the first and second round.
Me, I don't want to seem like I'm still a Ben Simmons fan, Sure. I just feel like, these last 2 years, he should the way that he's been playing, he should have been, there. It's like he got, cool, just, he settled for, how he was. Like, he was already, getting the All-Star team,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You got your max contract, so it's looking like, it's like you don't want to get better, at that point.
Yeah, I believe though too, it's a thing of a matter like if you're a star player, and yeah, this is just coming from my opinion, just to say that, but like if you're elite level talent, like when you see Kobe or LeBron playing on the floor, there's no question what you have in control. And if you usually see coaches that are legendary like Doc Rivers, Greg Popovich, a lot of times in a lot of situations, when they got their players in there, they're going to let them do what they do. They're not really trying to yell and facilitate on the sideline too much. I mean, Doc Rivers does it a little bit, but I don't think, and so as Ben Simmons, you have to get that mindset to be like, I need to just play my game. I get what he's trying to do, but obviously it's not going to work for us. I'm, first of all, 6'9". I can blow past anybody, and I got handles like I'm a 6'3" point guard like Kyrie. So like that makes you an asset. And then not only, and this is the thing that I believe like Embiid and players on the team that maybe might be looking at Ben Simmons like disgruntled. Like you have to realize if Ben Simmons is doing his thing on the court, all the attention has to go somewhere. Exactly. I'd rather have all the attention go to two players than rather have it go to one. Right. So Ben Simmons doing his thing. Embiid I guarantee you, Embiid probably could have been one MVP if Ben Simmons would have just been more aggressive on the scoring end, or at least trying to. Because, so I believe, Ben Simmons has to get that mindset. I believe he is. I mean, we always see the off-season workout videos from a lot of players. But like last year, we seen, because they were talking about his three-point shooting, which, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Like you don't need a 3-point. Everybody don't need to shoot threes to be successful.
Exactly. My thing is, at least you should be able to come on the court, hit a jump shot.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
The mid-range post game, or
exactly.
Because Giannis is a prime example. Giannis is not a good shooter, but he stayed aggressive, and you can't stop him.
Exactly.
Like James Harden was saying, like he just goes down dunking on everybody. Well, if you can do that, why not? Like Shaq.
Exactly. That's what Shaq did. Shaq got 4.
Shaq was unstoppable. Yeah, so but my point is, like, Ben Simmons, they was joking on him last year of his 3-point shooting, and he's shooting threes in like workout videos. He come back. Then they played an exhibition game over in China, and he hit a three. But that if it's not going to translate to the season, like that's I'm waiting to see what has to offer if he does play, because all these workout videos, it looks like he's confident, but we will only know when he starts to play.
Mm-hmm.
So, but somebody better pick him up quick.
Exactly. He'll be on the team for the season, though. I do think that. So another person, we talk about people getting moved on teams. I feel like we need to talk about the person that's not on the team, not in the NBA, but somebody that's supposed to be on the team, and that's Cam Newton.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Let's talk. Yeah, let's get into that too.
So all I'm saying, Cam is still, a starting quarterback in the NFL on any team.
I will always say that. I will always be like, you can't name out of all the 32 teams in the league, you can only probably name 10, maybe 7 to 10 quarterbacks that are better than Newton. And I mean, it's showing right now though, because look, you want to go with Mac Jones. I get it. He's a rookie. He needs time to develop, but look where he got you.
Exactly.
1 and 2. Now,
I feel like with the tools that the Patriots had this year, the Patriots could have possibly, had a reason. They could have been, back in it, would have been the playoffs this year with having Cam Newton installed in that offense.
Yeah, they easily could have, been second in their division. I don't know if they would beat the Bills, but they probably could have nabbed a wild card, or they would have barely missed. But the thing about it is, what I didn't really like was that Josh McDaniels, the offense coordinator, came out like 2 weeks before Cam got cut and was saying, they asked him in the press conference after preseason game, it was like, who's going to be your QB? And they was like, Cam's for sure our starter week 1.
Exactly. And they named him the starter, just to get cut.
Yeah, then, you get cut after your COVID little mishap, which, I mean, at the end of the day, come on, that's a whole different situation from football. It deals with football, though. So, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's something that you should cut a player for. But I feel
like everybody is entitled, whether you want to take the vaccine, if you want to take it, good. If you don't, that's your opinion. But I feel like at least still be safe, respectful, the people around you, stuff like that. Wear a mask, stuff like that. I mean, I understand some people, are against vaccines. So, but at the same time, I understand why the Patriots did it. But at the same time, I don't, because like you got to take that risk with him playing, him not being able to play every week.
Oh yeah.
And then like come playoff time, what if he tests positive, what's gonna happen then?
Yeah, and I think maybe last year might have had an effect because remember Cam he was playing well, and I think they just came off of playing Seattle, and Cam was going toe to toe with Russell Wilson. Cam like mad rushing yards, and he was like just throwing the ball decent, and Russell Wilson threw for like 400, 500 yards. And
right.
I think after that he caught COVID and he missed like 3 games or something like that. And when he came back, he couldn't. So I think that might have something to, factor in. But I think, I don't know. It's been tough to put a black quarterback at New England Patriots side. You never really seen it. But then again, you got to give credit that Tom Brady's been, demolishing teams there for years. But the interesting thing that I seen was on draft night when they drafted Mac Jones, because Mac Jones fell, and all the analysts was just saying like, Mac Jones was that NFL ready quarterback that they wanted, but everybody else that basically looked athletic and had more talent to the eyes went like, you got Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance all went in the top 10 picks. So who's the only quarterback left? Mac Jones. Who's going to get him? I think Bill Belichick knew. And, he got a good relationship with Coach Evans. I think he knew. And when Mac Jones got drafted, you see how he was walking up there?
He was confident. He was real confident.
Like he knew. And he was like, I'm ready to take this role. We've been speaking. So I think it's always been the plan. I knew they was going to resign Cam after last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying that they were going to draft a rookie quarterback. I didn't think they were going to cut him at the beginning of the season, but I just believe it's showing right now because you threw Mac Jones into a tough position.
All that pressure, coming off, we cut Cam Newton, people going to expecting probably so much from him, this year. And it's like, I'm not saying Mac Jones is not. I do think he's a good quarterback, but it's like the way they're, portraying him in the media and whatnot. So Belichick basically said was that, okay, this quarterback that we drafted, he represents the Patriots culture. The Patriots culture is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Yeah. So you're telling me, is this Bill Belichick and Tom Brady 2.0? Is that what you're telling? I mean, that's how I took it as.
I took it like
eventually, I think it's gonna be, my guy. So
yeah, I take it like that too. And I also take it as in Cam Newton is look what Cam Newton embodies in his whole career. When he came to Carolina, he's flashy, he's confident, he's gonna do his dance, he's gonna have fun while playing the game. The Patriots ain't never really been about that. They celebrate as a team, they do everything as a team, ain't nobody above this person or what. And you can't tell the MVP, former MVP of this league that, hey, we need you to cut down on. Like, he got a little bit more discipline, but at the end of the day, he still got to be himself in order to play like himself. So, like, I think it's all about the optics, like you were saying. Like, that's what you took it at. Tom Brady 2.0. I can mold this guy to do what I need to do. He's a pocket passer. He can work for my system, which is all about steps and, drop back, check down, and all that. And I believe Cam did a really well job of handling that system better than anybody else could because Cam knew that for his career, he had to slow things down. He couldn't be running the ball as much. He has to use check downs. And, I thought that was really going to help Cam. I'm just sad to see him, get released. And I think, hey, look, it is what it is. I'm just going to keep it a band. Like, Mac Jones is a rookie quarterback. He's playing not well. And it shows you can't just thrust him into the system. Cam was having a hard time. What makes you think Mac Jones is going,
Nothing. He still has to get used to being at that NFL pace, and that's probably another thing. But going from that, it's just like we really just got to wait and see, how the season goes, and see how Mac plays. But I think eventually, I do think he will be, that next guy for the Patriots. But like I say, it's just bad to see Cam go like that. But I would probably say, I would hope, I'll probably say the favorites, sign him will possibly be Washington.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt. No offense to Taylor Heineke, like he's playing good and he's but it's Cam Newton, man. And I don't know if Heineke can take him far in the play. I don't know if they could put him where they want him to be positioned at. And I just believe they got a good defense over there in Washington. And Ron Rivera used to be a coach.
Exactly. So everything, how to play for the coach already that's there. And another thing, you and this coach had the best record, one of the best records, the best record in franchise history.
Oh yeah.
You won the MVP that year, and unfortunately you lost to the Super Bowl. I mean, you went to the Super Bowl that year, so I mean, I'm all for seeing them team back up again. Yeah. Then you got Josh Norman still out there.
Yeah, I was about to say. But yeah, I'm ready to see that too. And I think, enough has been said. I think Cam's come to terms with it, and he's ready to do what he has to do, maybe to not even reinvent himself, just step back, get back into the game. Open the job gonna start somewhere. That's
exactly. I feel like he will be on the team, sometime soon, because at the end of the day, that's Cam Newton. But another thing, going back to quarterbacks in football, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay this season?
I think he is. I think he's going to stay for the rest of his career. It's kind of difficult with Rodgers where people thought he was going to leave. And I say it because of this, like it was the year of the quarterbacks, they're drafting younger guys. So teams that are already like sitting at the bottom of the barrel of the league, they're like, man, we might as well get these young dudes, let them develop, let them play with us for years, and then I can have them longer rather than getting a vet that I know that's going good and he's going to change my team, but I don't know how long I'm going to have him. And the difference when Tom Brady was doing it, it's Tom Brady, he's having rings, but Jameis Winston, it was a lot of opening spots left.
Exactly.
So, I don't think Aaron Rodgers really had much leverage, but I think it might have been a difference between the head coach and the front office of the Packers. And part of things went, but I think he's going to stay. I think people might over-exaggerate a lot of things because how he played horrible. Yeah, and I said that in one of my recent articles. He played horrible. We're not going to dismiss that fact, but it just looked like he wasn't in total control of the game. And playing against the Saints, you got to be on your A game because their defense is just immaculate. But I don't think him and LaFleur, the head coach, are seeing eye to eye on a lot of things. Right. And I don't know if LaFleur is really letting Rodgers do what he needs to do. You're not gonna say that to Tom Brady. You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Bruce Arians not gonna tell Tom Brady run this. Nah, that's Tom Brady. So Aaron should be held in the same regard. And the past 2 games, he did. Aaron Rodgers got 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He didn't throw no touchdowns in the first game, and he got all 6 of them.
He always thrown ever. That's another thing. Versus last season.
Yeah, you can't really call him washed down because Derek Carr, who's leading the league in passing, his TD to interception ratio is the same.
Exactly.
And so, but he really, that first game, they won. So, you know what I'm saying? So, can you really, I think he's going to stay. Where else he going to go, to be honest? And they still winning their division at 2-1.
The only thing I can say, though, I feel like Aaron Rodgers, is a top guy in the NFL, and respected. So knowing him, I feel like when he requested a trade, he just wanted to put the pressure, on the front office, hey, I don't want y'all a Super Bowl. I already done proved myself as a quarterback. And they want to tell Tom Brady that this was your MVP last year. Aaron Rodgers was the MVP last year, and I feel like a lot of people really thought they was favorites last year, at the rate that he was playing. And to me, it's going to be real hard for me to see Aaron Rodgers, anywhere else within Green Bay. But another thing is where will he go? But at the same time, you got Tom Brady playing, so long, could that be Aaron Rodgers, in the next few years?
I think it could be. I just don't know if he'll want to put in the same effort. Because Tom Brady seems like I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is not like a competitor, but Tom Brady almost seems like a narcissist. He wants to be perfect.
Exactly.
And I think he wanted to put his time and energy to prove. And they had 2 different situations. Tom Brady was always getting slighted to be himself a lot, or slighted of his greatness because he had Bill Belichick. And I think Aaron Rodgers was just in a different situation. I waited to play behind Brett Favre. You can't really say it was the head coach because he's on and, we doing our thing. And then let's just put Aaron Rodgers been to, I think, almost 10 or 9 of the last NFC championships.
Exactly. So it's he was already playing every year. He was already up there every year. And got robbed of, the last couple ones that he was in my opinion.
He's always finding himself either into the divisional round, but most likely 9 times out of 10, the Packers are going to be in the NFC championship. And that's because of Aaron Rodgers. And, I think the organization just needs to give him more respect because he's not asking to get out. And I don't think he wants to get out because, you got to invest your time into another organization. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to do that. But, as the organization, give him respect as a legendary quarterback.
A Hall of Famer.
Yeah, a Hall of Famer for sure. I think first ballot.
Exactly. No doubt.
If you want something, try your best to go get it. Because when Tom Brady wants something, he's taking pay cuts and you're going to go get it. Like Richard Sherman just got signed to Tampa Bay.
Exactly.
Tom Brady had to have a hand in that, and Sherman even put that on the map. Antonio Brown, who is one of the top receivers of all time after all his foolishness, who convinced him to get to the Patriots first
Exactly. To get cut and just to come back.
Came back. So like, let Aaron Rodgers do that for you. And so I'm glad, they gave him a little bit. Randall Cobb came back. So
Exactly.
I mean, but I
It
don't
was
think
good to see him and Kyle, back together on the field too. So I feel like that was probably maybe, the way, trying to rebuild that relationship, with him and the organization. So
I think it was. I think it was a power move like that, like let's show him that. But I really think the problem is probably with LaFleur and Rodgers, and I think they just have to have an understanding, But I don't. Aaron Rodgers, I put, he's not leaving Green Bay. In my opinion, he's not. I don't think it's no way.
So who would you say would be the early favorite for the NFL MVP, this coming season?
That's tough. That's tough. But
yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
I got two theories in mind. So Derek Carr, he's the leading passer right now. He's having an amazing season. I don't know if he's gonna stay in that top spot, but he's on the radar. Russell Wilson is always gonna be on my radar because he's always finding his way in top 3. Patrick Mahomes, of course, but I will say this, and this will trump everything that I just said. If he has close to 2,000 yards again, or if he was the NFL leading rusher again, Derrick Henry will win MVP. But the Titans have to make the playoffs, which I think they will, though. They've been struggling, but yeah, if Derrick Henry gets close to 2,000 yards, if he doesn't win MVP, I don't know what they just love quarterbacks then, because if he does that and he's already behind Joe Mixon, I think they both got around the same amount of yards. But I mean, Joe Mixon is starting to get, he probably breaking out a little bit, but longevity. It's all about longevity for the running backs.
Right.
Are you gonna get the same amount of touches that you got in week 1, in week 2, in week 17, or week 9? And I think Derrick Henry will, and he could easily go for 2,000 again. If he does that, you can't slight him. My sleeper pick though would be Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like Dak just got that edge, playing so good last year, and then getting injured, missing the rest of the season. I feel like he's coming back, let the lead, like, hey, I'm still here. Last year was last year, but this is I'm still the guy for this team. Right.
Yeah, heavily, and the way he played against Tom Brady, man, that was some good football. That was some good play by Dak. I think he's back though. I think Dallas is gonna do good. They're gonna win the conference, but it's all gonna be because of Dak. And you could tell how the team last year with Andy Dalton didn't really give a crap, and they really weren't playing to their best. But when Dak comes back, the Dallas Cowboys is a whole different team. So he's my sleeper pick though. Yeah, for sure.
Probably honestly, I was probably gonna go with Dak or possibly Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, could we actually see a quarterback win back-to-back MVPs like that? So it's like it's possible, with Aaron Rodgers. At the same time, I feel like Dak just has that edge, coming back this year.
I think he's.
I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna probably go with Dak too. It's just the fact, he's coming back, with that mentality, like, hey, not that he has nothing to prove, but he has, put the league back on notice.
Yeah, ready to stop having the Cowboys made a mockery of the league. Like, they are an elite team. Even though I hate their fans, but they're an elite team. So you can't really deny that. So I mean, shoot, I'm ready to see it though. Ain't no defensive player gonna win it though, for sure.
Exactly. So let's hit back, switching back over to basketball. NBA is coming back up. And last time we was talking about, Dame Lillard, Russell Westbrook, who's going to be the point guard, to be on LA. It happens, to be Russell Westbrook. And I don't realize, what people don't realize about this team, out of that trade at the end of the day, I would have wanted Russell Westbrook on that team because he brings that energy that you need on your court for your team. And people say, hey, his 3-point shooting, this man averaged a triple-double, so he's way more than, 3-point shooting. Won the MVP in the 2016-17 season, broke Oscar Robertson's record, and he's still active in the league. I mean, he's 32, but like I said, this is a new era for athletes. They don't, 32 isn't like, decline in the prime, no more. It's really not. And my thing is, you get a healthy AD, getting a healthy LeBron this year. You getting a team, and then you bring in Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, veterans like Carmelo, Trevor Ariza, and bringing back Rondo. So playoff time, you're gonna get playoff Rondo, and can't forget Dwight Howard, and DeAndre Jordan, being a veteran big man. But it's like, I feel like when it comes to regular season, they're gonna balance this thing out, with the old and the new. And then you can't forget Tucker.
Oh yeah, THT, yeah.
He's back. And my thing is, I'm expecting him the way he played last year. I'm already expecting him to have a big. Not that he's saying he didn't have a role last year, but he's going to be more involved this year. With Kuzma leave, Pope. He's the young guy on that team on that offense. And I feel like he should be the starting guard. Move him. Be starting guard. Come on. No disrespect to Ryan Ellington, but put the young guy in there. See what he can do.
Yeah. I feel like when you got the opportunity with a lot of the vets on the team like that, that's been in the year. Like if you want to develop your younger player, let him start, especially at the beginning of the season, because you can take a hit, and I think the Lakers will take a hit. But I do want, like we were saying that last time that Russell Westbrook was on me, and everybody be in the news talking this, that, and the third. But like we're gonna get into that. But I think THT, that would be a good move. I just hope the Lakers don't treat him like they did Kuzma.
Right.
And his role gets diminished with all these vets coming in. Like Trevor Ariza probably won't play too much minutes. Like the Lakers are set up perfectly. Like people are saying, okay, we got y'all old, y'all are this, y'all are that. When you're looking at a good championship team from time and time again, you can bring up any championship, the Warriors, the Cavs, you can bring up the Bucks. They always have some system of your superstars and your scorers, your bench players that know how to play the game, but they also know their role real well, and they embrace it and embellish it and do good at their role. And then you always got your dogs, your tough-nosed veterans that may not be out there dropping 15, dropping 10, looking flashy, but on defense, they ain't getting punked, and then everything, they doing things, the little things in the games that changes the momentum and swing. The Lakers have all that in one plus some. Like, so people are saying, well, they're old and this, and Westbrook's going to have to ball a lot. Like, cut it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you was like about Milwaukee last year. Like, Milwaukee had PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Portis was a dog. They might have been a little bit younger, but Brook Lopez.
That's a veteran player. Even in the Brooklyn days, always been a fan of Brook Lopez.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a minute. So, like, you're not going to say that about any other team. Like, cut it out.
With the Lakers, so who do you would say would be the better team, going into the season between, with the off season? Would you say LA or would you say the Nets?
The Nets for sure, the better team, like coming into the season?
Coming into the season, who you think will be,
The Nets, only because their team hasn't really changed. So their nucleus is a little bit more tighter. Their chemistry is a little bit more tighter. And Harden, Durant, and Kyrie, those main players, already had a year to really mesh together. And you see how well it did in the first year. So obviously I think they will be the better team. Now, down the stretch, that's a different story. We're going to see what happens, because they got to still go through Milwaukee. Like, people are expecting the Nets to clear through the league. I would expect them to be number one, but I don't expect them to be just dominating the top dogs in the East.
I would compare them to like that, would say like that Golden State, big three. I would compare them to that. Because like in the day, I really just don't think, ISO basketball was what's going to win a championship.
Oh, no. But Harden, And I'm glad he did this because everybody, including me, that used to just disrespect, not even disrespect, but just criticize his game like, oh, bro, you just shooting the ball all day. Proved us wrong because he's really that point guard of that team. Kyrie and KD are coming out with 25 plus. Harden, he's coming out with about 10 assists, 9. You see him coming down the court. He's setting people up. And I think Harden really just felt comfortable on the team to where he can play, he can do anything part of his game and embrace his role. And I think that ISO basketball mentality is now, after seeing last season, the ISO mentality is just like, okay, they mesh together well. Now, I think that's tough to bet against them because all three of them bad. Like, KD go down, Harden can just drop. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I feel like that's what it was with them last season. Like, we haven't seen them together as a healthy unit, so that's probably another thing. We gotta wait and see. But when it comes to LA, I just think that like I say, starting off the season, I think the Nets are gonna do their thing, through the regular season. But like I said, the grit and grind is playoff time, and I feel like with the playoff time, all that veteran leadership that's on that team in LA, that's what's going matter the most. That's what's going bring LeBron his second ring in LA, and his fifth ring overall this year. So I'm going with the Lakers, being the favorites this year.
They got to though because they got too much veteran. Not even veteran. Let's take that. They got too much superstar takeover and leadership on that team that you should not let just some guys outscore you. Like Westbrook is literally a 6'3" point guard that will get more rebound. He'll out rebound your bigs.
He will out rebound the center on the team.
Yeah, he'll out rebound your bigs. He's gonna throw the ball everywhere to your shooters and scorers. So AD, and then he will do all that. And if he needed to be, he'll drop 40 on your head. Like, and he'll be at a pace that's fast the whole game. Just like that's how he's playing. And then how can you compete? Because everybody, it's an analogy, not even an analogy, it's just a point. People be like, you got to play defense on me too. So right. Like, people would be like, yo, you might be scoring on me, but I'm gonna make you play defense on me too. So that's gonna tire you out on the offensive end. That's my way of playing defense. And you have to do that with Westbrook. And then guess what? Let's take him out. Rondo comes in. He gonna get about 20 minutes at the most. He gonna go hard and he gonna set people up. Like they got too much line. They have too much opportunities, and so if the Lakers don't win the ring, they will probably be criticized. It shouldn't diminish LeBron's legacy. It shouldn't diminish Melo's, Westbrook's. It shouldn't diminish it. But if they don't make it to the conference finals, first of all, let's just keep it real. This team might not stay together.
That's not that they don't want nobody on that roster to be done next year.
No, yeah. A lot of those people that's on the roster now, they're gonna either retire or I think Melo.
Might be his last year.
Yeah, I think this might be Melo last year because the way he was talking on $1 million worth of game, like he was making it seem like I'm not coming here for no. And so Brown was like, "We need you." He was like, "Okay, I got you." So, yeah. Westbrook probably will go to another team, or he might stay because it's on team. But even LeBron, if LeBron, man,
he can find another team. It won't be enough for him to leave. Him to get up and go somewhere. But I really think LeBron's gonna retire as a Laker.
He retires as a Laker. Mm-hmm. He switched to 6'2". Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I think if he wins the ring, this might be his last. I'm putting money. I've been saying this part for a little bit. Because I was like, if he wins the last ring with the Lakers, he might. But, they went out sad last year. But if you get in the whole band together, because LeBron's not even known for doing that. Like, he went to a big three, but he personally seeks to get these guys. So I think it could be an indicator. But let's just keep it real. Like, people have been talking about Westbrook. Like, come on, bro. Come on, like what can you say bad about him? You're hating at that point, you know. Like and people be like triple doubles don't. Well, I mean, I'm sorry if somebody comes in the game and gets 10 assists, like how is that being?
Plays a teammate on that court, you know.
Yeah, like you can't negate. Numbers don't lie. I know sometimes people be like, well, you can't, you know, you can score 42 and lose, yes, but at the end of the day, that 42 still gonna mean something. Them 10 rebounds gonna mean something. Ain't no stat chasing. Them 11 assists ain't no ball hog. You know what I'm saying? So they just trying to find every way to diminish and not appreciate what we could have possibly the best finals matchup ever if the Nets and the Lakers make it to nobody. I'm putting in like nobody wants to see anything else. They already seen a good final series. They already seen Giannis get his ring. You know, every other team in the West, they really don't care about. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Golden State because Klay coming back, but now that the Lakers are loaded and the Nets had these three dudes, everybody wants to see. Even in the NBA, if you work for the organization, everybody wants to see the Lakers, the Nets, Bron, KD.
Right. Especially this time.
Exactly. Harden versus, you know, AD. Like, you know what I'm saying? Harden versus Melo, whatever. You know, like, nobody wants to. Big three versus big three with a plethora of talent. Old versus new, if you want to call it. Who going to win?
Right. I feel like that's going to be the next. That's the big thing for this season. You know, it's, you know, preseason starts on the 4th. So, like I said, we're going to have to, you know, wait and see what goes on in the NBA this year. But, man, you know, once again, I got to thank you for being back on the show. And we definitely know it's going to be not going to be the last time. You know, we're going to bring the sports heat every time, you know, we on this thing. But, you know, legacy, you know, truth be told sports, you know, we just getting started, man. But once again, bro, thank you. You know, I will see you guys on the next episode.
Appreciate it. Peace.
No problem, man.